Yo,
Welcome to the channel. I am so excited to be sitting here today and talking with AJ, who is an incredible marketer. And he and I have been communicating a lot about the profitability for a business. So, AJ, before we dive into our questions today, I really want you to tell people what you do.
yeah, sure. So I work with e-commerce companies, so people that sell physical digital products or services and the products online, either through their own website or through other channels. But I'm really passionate about, I think this is why we get on so well. I'm really passionate about ops and using marketing as a way to really define, the scalability of what we do and how you can scale using repeatable processes and how marketing is really data science with a creative edge, not a creative activity.
I love it.
And
Probably why we get along so well is because
probably is,
I
probably
just
is.
love my processes. I want them to be repeatable and to
Yes,
add to the bottom line, not to sink the business. And
exactly,
marketing is
exactly.
one of those areas similar to operations where I find there's so much. When somebody says marketing, there's actually so much. You have to go, well, let's dive a little deeper. What
Yep,
does that actually mean? Are you talking about SEO? Are you talking
yep,
about funnels? Are you talking about e-commerce?
yep,
All of those similar to operations where you have, people problems and process problems and profit
yep,
problems. You've got to be
yep.
really specific when we talk about what you're doing for marketing. And so, well, I want to talk today about strategic versus tactical.
Cool.
Can you explain the difference? I know we've had this conversation before. The difference between strategic marketing and tactical marketing and why it's important for businesses to understand the difference between the two.
Sure, sure. So I'll just give you a story that I heard probably 100 times last year at local network events, and that's why I don't really attend them anymore. Which will illustrate the difference. So I spent a lot of time last year talking to people who were saying, well, last month we tried Facebook. This month we're trying SEO. Next month we're trying email marketing. 2 months' time we're going to try dancing on TikTok. 3 months, in 3 months' time we're not quite sure, but we'll go try something completely different.
Now, why is that a
Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I feel like I have to do a Dr. Phil impersonation at that point again. And how is that working out for you? Right? Um, that's a
problem?
very OG reference, isn't it? Um, and so I think a lot of people get into this whole idea that marketing has to be tactical, they have to be doing a whole bunch of activity because they see the competitors do it or they see this big brand doing it and they don't realize that oftentimes there's either a plan behind it, which we'll get into, or there's a much bigger department behind it. So they can therefore do more activity, right? And
Yeah.
so you imagine, so for me, strategic marketing is about trying to say, right, where do we think we can actually stack the deck in our favor and have an outsized outcome in comparison to what our competitors and what the market is doing, right? I.e., in strategic, so we talk about playing to win, not playing to play, right? I know that's a concept you're highly familiar with. Can you probably use that terminology all the time?
I love it. I've had somebody not talking about the marketing specifically, but they referred to it this way. And so he asked me one day, he said, well, are you doing business or are you doing busyness?
mm, mm,
Do you actually have a plan
yeah,
that you are enacting and you understand the outcomes and how you know whether you're going to be on track or off track? Or are you just throwing spaghetti at the wall at all
yep,
times?
yep, yep, yep. And I think for me, with strategic marketing versus tactical marketing, I think it's so easy to get caught up in, well, I call it, Bob's down the pub's granddaughter's boyfriend's nephew, syndrome. Well, he's on TikTok, so why are you not on TikTok? Or, he's got 10,000 Instagram followers, so why haven't you? Why are you not? Right? And I think it's the whole, it's the whole have a plan and try and figure out where your marketing dollars or your marketing pounds or your marketing euros are best spent to get the outcome that you want to, versus just trying to do some random stuff that doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
And so here's the real problem, though. Yeah, when we talk about marketing, we have this scourge of the industry, which is called marketing agencies. And what I mean by that is a lot of marketing agencies sell you what they're comfortable selling you, and therefore they believe their hammer or their wrench is the right solution to your problem, but they do not stop to run the analysis, to run the research, to figure out if their solution is the right. Yeah, if all you have in your toolkit is a big hammer, every problem that's presented to you you'll believe that it requires a big whack, right?
Oh, AJ, you are so right on that one. And it's not just marketing that does that.
No,
Uh,
no,
I'd go on a little side tangent story for
please.
operations here because it's one of the things that our firm does a little bit differently, right? When people say, "Oh, I need a COO," they put it out like a job description, but everybody who comes in is going to pitch you that they're the perfect person for that job. All understandable reasons
Yep,
behind that,
yep,
right?
yep.
But people have said the things to me. So tell me why you would be the right person for your firm. Well, I don't know because I haven't met you. I haven't talked about you. I don't know if what your problems are. So maybe we should have a conversation first,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
I can tell you whether I am or one of my team is the
yeah,
right person for you.
yeah.
But at the moment, I can't tell you that. And it's the same thing with marketing. I find because it's so vast of an area, you have different people with different areas of expertise,
Yeah.
but finding the right one to solve the problem sometimes takes interviewing a lot of people
Yeah.
so that they can ask great quality questions and you can narrow down, oh, well, here's the top 4 marketing things we're actually going to focus on.
Mm, mm,
Oh,
yeah.
well, maybe we should not go with TikTok or Facebook or whatever because that's actually not one of the 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do companies actually put together a plan? What questions should they ask themselves?
I just I just want to add something to what you
Sorry.
said, because I feel no, this is great, this is great, and then I'll answer that question. I my job as a strategist, I know you feel the same. Well, I hope you do. Is I don't have to have all the answers. I don't have to know how to run that tactic. I just have to know that that tactic exists and that I can go to the marketplace and can find somebody who understands that tactic and can be held accountable by the KPIs or the measurements that I want to hold them accountable by. And therefore, my job as a strategist and as the essentially fractional CMO is that I can run the department and work with lots of freelancers and work with lots of different companies to provide the best outcome for my clients. Right. And I know you feel the same.
I absolutely do. And so it's the same sort of thing. Whenever we're talking about, and I want to do more general CXOs, so fractional
Yeah. Yeah.
CXOs,
Yeah.
whether it's a chief marketing officer, a chief operating officer, a chief IT officer, whatever it is, you need somebody who's got the depth of experience to be able to comprehend how the picture should look and be able to take that step back and go, okay, here's the problems that I see. Here's the areas that are working well. Here's how I know it's working well, and
Yeah.
I can actually validate that. And I'm asking really good quality questions. Now, yes, I tactically need to do this piece.
Mm.
That doesn't always, sometimes it is, but that doesn't always mean that I have to be the expert in that tactic,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Funny story. So I tried to be an SEO specialist for my website. I wanted to try it. I didn't. I threw the spaghetti at the wall and I tried it. I used one of the tools that was out there. I went through their training course and I cut my traffic in half.
Yes. Yep.
And
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
maybe I should not do that again. I
No.
am not an expert at that piece.
Yes. 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 So return to your question. Um.
So how do we develop that plan? So we're a business owner, we're coming to the table, or we're COO that we talk to a lot on this channel.
Yeah. Yep.
We're like,
Yep.
okay,
Yep.
I need to develop that.
Yeah.
What's the first sort of question maybe that I have to ask?
So I think what the first question we have to ask, and the first kind of exercise that I like to run people through, is the matrix. And the Matrix is not the Matrix is the film. The Matrix is in. I realize I said that.
You're not going to ask me if
That's
I
a
want
double
the red
entendre.
pill or the blue pill. Is
No,
that what
I'm
I'm
not. No,
hearing?
no, 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 no. You have to understand. Yes, you have to have some basic understanding of where your clients live, or how your clients like to buy, or where your clients are going to consume your message. So, I know we talked back in December and we had a guy who was doing construction. And so for him, he probably is doing trade shows. He's probably doing more relationship outreach where he's making friendships with people, because actually for him, the deal flow is going to be, he live or die by deal flow. He lives or dies by the contract size.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas another person that call runs, a mentoring program for what did Ali call herself? Sorry,
Uh,
I'm revealing
she's,
names as well.
I know we're trying to be very nice and very peace player. Yeah, she runs a coaching program for recreational gym owners.
Right,
She's
right.
amazing at it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's absolutely killing it, isn't she? She's absolutely
Yes.
doing an amazing job. Um, but Hub is, will live or die by the amount of deal flow, right? And so we
Right.
need to understand, one size doesn't fit all, and one channel doesn't fit all. And so with something like Ali, for her it may be, well, actually we do lots of trade fairs where they're highly targeted, they're highly niche. We do outreach campaigns. We run lives on Facebook, right? And so there's right, and so having some idea of where your client base lives, right, is super important, you know. And so that's the first thing. Then the second thing to do, the second kind of step, is to then allocate, and this is the matrix, is to allocate, where is busy, and expensive, where is quiet and affordable. I'll give you a great example. So I work with a load of e-commerce companies, which are sometimes called D2C or CPG brands. There's a whole plethora of
It's all a bit
annoying
super.
acronyms. I know, I'm just gonna get a t-shirt one day with all of them, just keep pointing at keep pointing at the acronym. Um, Sorry. A lot of people, again, coming back to marketing agencies, they feel that everybody's advertising on Meta, and therefore they should be advertising on Meta, right? But to me, Meta for them might be too expensive and too busy, right? Whereas Reddit may be cheaper and less busy, and therefore the interaction and the quality of people coming through from Reddit may be less, absolutely, but may actually want to spend more, right? And that's why you need to grade things on where they fit within the general landscape of, is it something you can work up towards. So with your SEO thing, with your SEO problem, you know, you you could have figured it out, within 6 weeks that actually, right, it's too complicated, it's too expensive for where we're at right now. But actually I can use something like Apollo to go find lots of people on LinkedIn. I can go talk to them, right? And then when I have the budget to do SEO properly, then we can try that channel, right?
Yeah.
And for me, it is that whole methodology of saying, right, if we're optimizing for what everybody else is doing, we're going to get lost in the noise. If we're optimizing for where we think we can have an outsized outcome at a fair rate, then we're likely to do better than the first situation. I just want to give you a quick story. So
Yeah.
a brand that I pitched for earlier in the year was a plus size clothing brand built by two people who are plus sized, right? And so it's not just a brand extension. They haven't just taken clothes that they can fit in and built a larger size because they felt the market demands that. They're actually larger people, and therefore they're building comfortable clothes for themselves. And other agencies have said to them, well, you should be doing meta, you should be doing email, you should be doing SEO. I said to them, shall we try streaming platforms like Twitch and King?
Why?
Right? Because there are people on Twitch who are larger people who would have been given a free chair, given a free mouse, given a free mic, but probably haven't got decent quality clothing.
Yeah.
because they've probably been given black clothing from that brand as an afterthought. The swag's always going to be poor in comparison to the actual product, right? You imagine how much business we could do through that as picking it as a channel. Same thing with Reddit, right? There's loads of really interesting people on Reddit across all different subsections of life. But you imagine people that are looking for cool plus size clothing, they might be on Reddit, and therefore we might be able to get some
Yeah.
impact with that in that channel.
And it's really important, I find, as we're as we are having this conversation here today, it is the middle of 2024.
Indeed.
So the pandemic is kind of past.
Yep.
Not for every business, obviously.
Yep.
From an after effect perspective.
Yep.
Interest rates, inflation, global events, there are real things going on that are affecting businesses in a major way. And so I find it very interesting from a strategic and a tactical perspective to also take the time to ask the question, has my clientele changed? Because when I did the avatar exercise back 2 years ago or whatever, it was this, but is it this now? Am I still communicating with them and giving them the things that will move their needle forward?
Yeah.
But maybe their business model has shifted or something. I don't know. Maybe I should ask that question. And then the follow-up to that, to really dive into, and I know a lot of people don't, some business owners are visionaries and they don't love diving into the numbers. I love the numbers. And so going back and saying, okay, well, we had Facebook ads. We had a top of funnel that was very successful. And then ChatGPT came along and killed the top of the funnel. Yep. And so we had to go back and we asked the question, okay, well, we have, 3 tiers of what we offered. It's the DIY, the done for you, and the done with you. Great. We have those things. Yeah. But where did each of them come from? Did they all come from as the ascension model was planned, or did they come from somewhere else? And it turned out the highest level came from somewhere else. I was like, well, isn't that interesting? I didn't realize that. Going in and taking that moment to think about the strategy before you dive into the tactics that support the strategy is really important.
The other important thing that I just want to highlight just real quick is really understanding your clients have all the answers, your customers have all the answers. But it's up to you whether you want to listen to them and whether you want to actually ask the right questions. And I often find, I was talking to somebody last month who was like, yeah, I can talk to my previous clients, but I'm a bit sensitive. So I said, well, find somebody else to do it. Have you got a COO in your company? Have you got, I wasn't suggesting me to him at all. Could you hire a marketing agency who could phone your clients or take out for coffee and figure out why they picked you, what they liked about working with you, what they didn't like about working with you, and use all of that research and all that intel to build where you're trying to get to better, quicker, faster, cheaper.
Exactly. Really great questions. AJ, I have loved this conversation. Thank you.
Incredible.
For those who are listening, we're going to come back with AJ again, and a few times we're going to talk about some marketing pieces and how it affects operations and business success. AJ, thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.